Those are lights that's 35 years old. If you go out there, you'll hear the humming. You'll see the lights that are out. So the mound will have new lights, so the kids now can play in light instead of darkness. And main thing, what I'm concerned about, we've got teenage kids, and maybe got teenage kids. That can be dangerous up there. If you go up there, I was up there last Friday night. It's great to see those young people out there playing. Or there could be other places that those young kids could be. And if you know what I mean, that 16, 17-year-olds could have other, maybe poor decisions, but they're up there playing. And I love that. These lights are going to provide safety, and with our great law enforcement, it's easily patrolled up there, and you're going to have more lights on the parking lot as well. So yes, we will get the new lights, but this 1% does not affect those at all. They already been ordered, paid for, and they'll be fully installed by June.
That's good.
Yes.
So, Mr. Harris, I'm sorry, repeat so I can adequately answer your question. You're wanting to know if we're concerned about the war that's taking place overseas and that it's going to cause costs to rise in the community? Yeah, we're concerned always about what's going on at the national and state levels and decisions that are being made there, because everything always trickles down to the local level. So, yeah, those are discussions we've had, and that's why we're not rushing into any decision that we want to, that war's kicked off certainly after we started this discussion. And it's, once again, certainly something that the City Council, none of us take this lightly. It's a discussion that's taking place. And that's why we wanted to, if we institute this, don't do anything quickly, that this would go into effect in 2027. And certainly, let's hope that the decision makers in Washington can do something to control what's going on with the inflation that, as Phil said, is not only impacting you. I'm a property owner too. I'm a taxpayer too. My son's a taxpayer, my wife, my family, we're all taxpayers here. And that's why I said none of us take this lightly. But we also have a city government to run, and we have services to provide to you, and we have safety and security that is important, and we have parks that we're trying to manage, and there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. And we pay those same, in local government, sometimes people forget we're paying the same costs that everybody else is. And I know it's popular to say, well, let's cut it. Well, I don't think we're a community that needs to be closing our parks. I don't think we're a community that needs to be shutting down things. Taking things away from your citizens is not the answer, and we've got to be better than that. So we've got to figure it out. But to your point, I get it. Because I'm a taxpayer too. He's a taxpayer. We all are. We're all concerned about the continuing rising cost in this community, and that's why I started off with my talk today by saying we don't take this lightly.
What about the financing? How is that going to work? I know you said you got the money, or we got the money for the lights, which is great. And I'm not against, and I'm not really against this tax. I'm not worried about my taxes. I'm not worried about that. It's just the cost of living for a lot of the young people have really increased. So we already have the money for the lights.
Well,
what does the budget look like though?
Well, if you remember this time last year, a proposal was set for between $800,000 and $900,000 for lights. Well, if I told you we got those lights for a third of the cost, not for one park, but for two parks, we're going to be under $300,000 providing replacement lights at Easy Walker and have lights at the Mount.
That's good.
Which is, and we're talking about these are not cheap lights. The lights that's going to be, that's actually used at,
Big sports stadium.
I'm trying to think of Florence Freedom, the minor league team. If you take a look at that facility in Florence, that minor league team, these are the same lights that they use. So these are not, they're not an off-brand or anything like that. So they're good quality lights.
Some people worry about the cost overruns that are going to happen without a doubt. We're going to have inflation at the end. We've already got one project here that is already way over budget. You know which one I'm talking about. We talked about that. So, can we afford it? I mean, are we gonna be able to afford this? All the things you want is, I mean, do we have to do all these at the same time, or?
Well, yeah, good question, and I don't think their intent is to try to do them all at the same time. We don't believe in borrowing to try to do all this. It's gonna have to be there's two things with this. One, providing them the adequate revenue they need to be able to run operations and conduct maintenance. You know, that's one of the things, you and I had a great discussion one day at it's easy to build something, but you gotta figure out the maintenance cost in there and what that's gonna cost over several decades. But two, the city council has been very clear that if this were to pass, that they want to see a fund established with Parks and Rec that would be used for future maintenance, and then this would keep us from running into a tough spot down the road where we've got all these nice things, but we're not able to adequately maintain them. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. It's
Okay.
just the cost. How we're gonna make sure we keep up with it. I agree. I love the parks. I think we need to work on them. So I know a lot of people don't like the tax. I'm not gonna like it, but given a choice, I'll take the tax and keep the parks. So I know it's hard on Dairy Queen and some of the other people may be here.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for sharing. I'm sorry, Tabitha. Well, let Tabitha go. She was here first in the audience.
I come as a parent, that this affects my child who works in fast food. He works hard for that money. This tax that you're asking to put on is they're working, they're earning that for you. Their jobs are earning that. They are putting forth their efforts. You're looking at a group of teenagers and young adults that are getting this money for you, who you have failed, who we have watched the detriment of our parks go downhill. This discussion started, if I remember correctly, November of 2024. I sat in that meeting at Parks and Rec when they started that. You have all but one, I think, same board members sitting there. Mayor Watts, you named some of them I think even preceded you that are on that board. Chris Haddix has put some of those board members on there. They were all for it because they said we need $900,000 for lights. And they were adamant, and they stood behind your Parks and Rec director at that point for all that it was worth. Everybody fought, told how great he was doing so much with this money. We were gonna, we had to have this. Phil comes in, we're down to a third of that price. I commend Phil for this. This is a conversation that Phil and I have had. This is a conversation that Mayor Watts and I have had. I've had this conversation with Chris Haddix. Is it more money? Yes. It's not about the 1% tax. It's about that we have to hold those in charge accountable for what they're spending money on. And to this point, we haven't. And you have board members sitting there who have left and handed money and money and money, and there's been no accountability. I sat in that same meeting and I said, why don't we go back and look at the last 12 years? Let's see where this money's been spent. I was very plainly told that each year that it was accounted for, and that's the way it was going to be. You have 12 years, and I said just the other day and talked to Phil, I said, you have 12 years of things that have been bad that you're going to have to prove to this community that you're going to do better with. So you're asking them to pay 10 cents on a $10 meal or whatever. You as a city council, as Chris Haddix, as Phil in that position, you have to prove, because there's nothing at that park right now that proves that you have been financially sound with the money you've already gotten from the 2% tax. We have tennis courts that are falling apart. They're not usable. Our high school can't use them. You can't go out there and play. We've had kids up at the mound. I have a 17 and 19-year-old. Our rule all last summer, you could not be at that park past 9:30 at night. Is that fair? No, because there's some of their friends that get to be up there. But I also have been up there with them late at night playing pickleball. It wasn't safe. And the things that went on up there, it wasn't safe. So I commend Phil for making sure that we're getting lights up there so we all can enjoy it. I have kids that have played baseball and all of those tournaments at Easy Walker Park. We have spent our money, just like we have all over the state, all over the country playing sports. It's not about the 1% and the penny, it's about accountability for our community. And if our board members that are sitting on that Parks and Rec board still have the same mindset, then maybe it's time they walk away. Maybe they've been there too long. Maybe it's time that you look at them and say, you know, maybe it's time that you give somebody else a fresh start, as Phil's coming in with a fresh start. You and Judge Haddix are the ones that make those calls on who sits there. So maybe we bring up all of those things that this 1% tax, so the people of this community know that it's going to be spent correctly. You have to prove it. I'll say it again, I've told Phil, you've got a long road to prove that you're gonna make things better. And I'm assuming we're struggling to get baseball. Many people signed up for baseball. That's one of those sports that have went downhill. Too many people formed travel teams because Parks and Rec, one, they did away with the program. Two, it was failing leading up to that. So that's the point, my whole point behind the 1%. I've said it since November of 24. It's not about a penny per dollar. It's about accountability for what you're spending that money for.
Yep. All great points, and you are the accountability. So I encourage you to attend those meetings, continue attending those meetings, ask. This man will give you whatever you want. I assure you, we do have good board members. They're all unpaid citizens that are just trying to do the best they can on a board, and it's becoming a tougher and tougher board to serve on, tougher and tougher to get people to want to serve on boards like that, because it is controversial when kids are involved, and you know, when there's limited budgets and they're doing the best they can. But Tabitha, I'm with you. Accountability is so important, and that's where you as a citizen asking questions helps. So your meetings, I know, vary, but
Yes.
you all are
We try to rotate.
trying to rotate, but please keep trying to share with the community when those meetings are the best you can, so we know that citizens are able to show up and ask tough questions if they have to.
And can I reply?
Absolutely, yeah.
Tabitha, thank you first off. We did have a nice conversation. I actually coached Tabitha kids back in the day, so like I said, I destroyed a lot of careers in my life, so, and that's how you got into golf, so congratulations on Cooper for
It worked out.
You want to try to destroy that one.
Just to give you a little update on that, we are taking all the sports programming back and adding some. I don't know if you noticed, I have worked with every high school coach at the high school, trying to get our kids back and try to get them more involved with our kids. We are offering a free program for our football kids, flag football. Last year we only had like a couple, maybe 30 kids come out for flag football. We moved it to the spring. We offered it for free. We have we're approaching 300 kids this year, offering a free program that the high school football coach and his players would be instructing those kids on a Sunday afternoon after church, just to get kids out. And I think that's a great thing for this community. Just hopefully some of those kids will continue to play football. Our soccer registration this year reached 350 kids for spring. We're up over 110 kids since last year. One, we lowered the cost. And Shana, for you ask, yes, we did lower the cost by $20 per child. So kids in place. We don't want kids saying, man, we got single parents, either do we eat to keep the lights on, or does my son or daughter play? We want you to do both. We actually offer sibling discounts. We actually, by decreasing the amount for registration fee, we wind up actually gaining over 100 kids to play soccer. and we actually made money off of it, because we're having more come in, we actually make a little bit more money, and we're offering more programs. We're getting ready to offer a bowling league for young kids in the summer. It's not been released yet, so volleyball's gonna be coming. We're offering these programs, get kids out off their phones, that's the main thing. Get them out, enjoy the weather. We got a great parks. And on that, what you said, yes, we need to be more open to what we do. I'm gonna be honest, I was handed the keys to a Cadillac, because we got a lot of good things, and the only thing we can do, we're gonna go way up, and we already started. The lights, like you talked about, now you can send those boys up there here in a couple of weeks, and then be underneath the lights. I also have a teenager who goes up there. I don't feel safe with him up there, and I know I see a lot of young girls up there, and I really don't feel safe for them. So we're gonna change that. So I'm thinking, I'm like you, I think as a parent. So, but we have a lot of good things going on. We do have a budget. I've met with Senator Elkins, also met with Representative Hale, trying to see if there's anything we can get somewhere down the road to help us out as well.
And I commend you, Phil, for that. What I will say, had we not changed, would we be any different? Would we still be asking this? Phil's made a difference. Phil's gonna make a difference. That soccer and taking $20 off the price, that could have been done years ago. You get a t-shirt. That's an accountability issue. It's still, all but one is still the same board. So Phil's made this difference because Phil's came in as a parent, a former coach, somebody that said, look, we've got to build these programs. So Phil's gonna make the difference. I have faith in him to do that. And Phil and I have done that before. It's not even that. It's the fact that you have a board that needs to be held accountable for what they did in the past to make sure that we're going to use this money, if it passes, because nothing says it'll pass, is going to be used for the future and do it correctly. And I've said in those meetings, I've had harsh things said to me because I was fighting back, but I was fighting back because I get tired of knowing what we had 15 years ago sitting at Easy Walker Park and what we have now. I've pushed the water out of dugouts while I've watched Parks and Rec employees sit and watch me. I've filled holes in soccer fields because I wanted to, because I did it for my kids and the other kids around there. We have to take pride, and we have to have people making the decisions. All people. It can't just be Phil. Can't just be Ian, who starts in a couple weeks. It has to be everybody that is involved in making decisions for the money that Parks and Rec gets is all there. Yes, it is unpaid. I get that. It does take extra time. I get that. But if you don't have the extra time and you don't want to put into your parks, then step away from the position. So I think we have to look at it and hold everybody accountable and look at them and say, our community wants a difference. I would have thought they all would have been here this morning or been at any of these meetings because it directly affects them, but they're not. We don't even have all of our council members here.
Well, and let me address that. I have specifically told the boards that their board members, they're there to do the best they can with what they have, where they're at in this period of time, and Phil will come and answer those questions. If you want to address them at that individual board meeting, because I didn't want to have an appearance with these forums that we're stacking it, trying to take their opinions and,
They should be here.
kind of use those. But you can go to their meetings, Shannon. You've been to their meetings. You've filmed at their meetings. You can go have those tough conversations with them in those meetings.
This is one of those meetings where they should be there.
This is a forum that the city of Mount Sterling is hosting, and I made that decision because I would have 20 different board members in here, not just from here, tourism, and yours is the voice that needs to be heard today. So you can blame me.
But that answers that.
Yeah.
That
It's not that they don't want to be here. I've told them that it would be more appropriate if those conversations happened around their tables, in their meetings, that this forum is your voice.
They did have.
This forum is your voice. Yes.
They did have her at the meeting. Can I speak?
And let me, one thing for Shane. I will say this, you know what our ultimate goal is for, and this is a board thing, and actually when we reduced the cost, the whole board had a vote on that and they all agreed to it. So I think we're all on board to create, making sure that kids can play. Our whole goal is actually have every kid in Montgomery County play for free. That's gonna be down the road, obviously. It's not gonna happen overnight, or at least at a really reduced cost. That's a board decision. They all agreed, and we've actually all stepped up and paid for kids who couldn't play. But I think you got a board. Again, you're looking at a guy who just, I ain't been there a year yet. It's getting on board, say, we got to lower cost, preferably have no cost at all. And so these kids can play. Because we're not looking for the next Mickey Mantle or Michael Jordan. We're looking for the next mayor, next school teacher, next business owner. That's what we're looking for. That's what sports does. Sports, I mean, let's be honest. It does more in, to have, you know, how many times you've been out doing different things and going to different parks. I mean, to sports, what do these kids learn besides just playing baseball or golf? It's life lessons. And that's really what we're here as a park and rec, to teach life lessons.
Got another quick question.
Well, hold on, I believe, yeah, so Tony will let, because Shannon had asked, but Tabitha, may I wrap up? Just I want to say one more thing about your comment. You're absolutely right. You said your son is there working, and he's helping collect that tax, and we failed him. We have, as a community, we can do better, and we need to look at every option out there to do better for your son, because he's going to be the leader in this community. He's already leading where he's at, but that next generation is the ones coming up, and we have a responsibility to make sure that we fix what needs to be fixed, we put good programming in place, that we maintain our history, we maintain our arts, we have good tourism-related programs, that we keep building this community. So I'm with you. Your son's working hard, and he's helping contribute, and we're trying to do better. So that's why we're having this discussion here. And I say all the time, I don't know why in this community we want to halt discussion. These are good. No matter what the city council decides to do, this is all being productive to have these discussions here. So thank you for your comments. And then Shannon was next, yes.
Thank you very much. And thank you for your amazing son, one of which is an all-star golfer now. So she's very passionate about this issue, but you already know that. I know one individual, and this is added to my speech just on the fly back there because it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed now. I know one individual who has asked for years now to be appointed to the Parks and Rec Board to help make our parks and recreation better than we find them today. This person has vast experience, loves our Parks and Rec, and loves this community. Please give others a chance to serve on the board. Please update the board members. Those on the board have been there for far too long. We need term limits for their positions. Term limits are a good thing, and that's why we have them in other government departments. I also question the motives of several of the Parks and Rec board members. Where are those members today? And I know you just addressed that, but I typed this before you addressed that. Where's our judge executive? Where's our fiscal court members? And where's our city council members today? Where were they at each of the other two meetings that were held prior to this meeting? Will they be attending the fourth and final meeting on this topic? Where were they last year when we had this discussion? In the park system, I believe the board voted down on this tax increase because it did not make it to this chamber, correct? It did not make it to this chamber. It was not recommended to you, Mayor, that by the Parks Board that we increase this tax.
That is correct.
It was not recommended. And I do believe this.
Although they don't, to be clear, they don't have any say in whether there is a tax or isn't. The discussion was, do we go approach the city council about seeing if they would consider a change to the ordinance for more funding?
You would appreciate a recommendation though, would you not?
Absolutely.
It would look better to the community, I believe, if the board took that responsibility off your shoulders, made the recommendation, and then of course you're going to have some pressure there to make a decision once that pressure is applied.
But yeah, I just wanted to be clear. They're not approving or denying a tax. They can only make a recommendation of we need more funding. Yeah.
Yes, Mayor, I understand how
Yeah.
that works, yes, sir. Today I rise in strong opposition to this outrageous 50% increase in the restaurant tax. Normally, I support consumption-based taxes, we've met about that. Okay, consumption-based taxes, they don't penalize productivity. Consumption-based taxes are something that you can adjust, right? You don't have to eat out, you can buy groceries, you can go home and cook. You can buy rice and beans if times get tough. I lived on ramen noodles to put myself through college. I had water because I could not afford even the most generic of soda pop. Okay, so I started at the bottom, and I've climbed and scratched and got to where I'm at today in this community. And I love this community, and I'm very passionate about this community. And my family loves this community. We want to stay here for the rest of our lives. We want to develop this community, make this community much, much better than it is today. And you can tell I'm passionate. A park system is a critical component of a successful community. I believe we all are in agreement on that we need a park system, and it needs to be vibrant, it needs to be healthy, it needs to be something that attracts visitors and tourists to our communities to spend their dollars here, that we can tax through a consumption-based tax, right? But I'm not sure that we need to be taxing food. This is a tax on food, it's a tax on families, it's a tax on working people, it's a tax on everyday citizens who are already struggling just to keep up. And there's a lot, it's hard. I mean, I go to people's homes almost on a daily basis, and they're sleeping in the floor. They have an air mattress, but they may have a sheet, they don't even have a comforter. They can't even afford a pillow in some cases. They have clothes folded up that they lay their head on at night. It's just, people have it tough, and society's not seeing how tough they have it. And it really bothers me, the government just keeps pressing. It's not you all, it is you all, but it's every level of government. It's our state level government, they keep pushing and crushing folks. It's our national or federal government. We're dropping bombs, killing hundreds of innocent children abroad that we have no damn business doing, okay? And I'm just sick and tired of it. Billions of dollars in bombs are being dropped, killing people, when those billions of dollars could be used for things like this in our country to protect our people. And I'm just sick and tired of it. So the people, they've spoken. Food's not a lot. Food. I'm sorry. I just get so riled up about this stuff. A tax on everyday citizens who are already struggling just to keep up. Food is not a luxury. Food is not a privilege. Food is a necessity. And it is morally wrong for government to make life harder by taxing people more just to eat. And the people have spoken. In the recent town poll published in our local newspapers here today, just 22%, or 157 people, supported this tax increase. 77%, or 552 people, opposed it. That means for every one person who supports this tax hike, about 4 people stand against it. That is not a divided community. That is a community speaking loud and clear, saying, do not raise this tax. Please do not do this to our community. Tighten your belts like our families have had to do. Tighten your belts like our local restaurant owners are having to do. The people are sacrificing. Small businesses are sacrificing. City government should sacrifice too. I've said this hundreds of times over the years, and I know each one of you have heard me say it, and I must say it again. Government should not grow faster than the people it serves. Government should not grow faster than the people it serves. Do not balance your budget on the backs of people trying to eat. We created government to make life better, not harder. And if the city cannot afford to maintain everything it has, then the answer is not to tax food more. The answer is to get serious about priorities. If we have too many parks to manage and close one temporarily, I suggest Botts Park be that park. And I'm not saying sell it, give it away. I'm saying lock the gates. Let it grow up until we get this situation under control. And hopefully get that food tax down to 0. We're going in the wrong direction. So my suggestion is that we temporarily close Botts Park. I opposed Botts Park years ago. I came to these meetings where it was discussed because I had a concern. Just like I've been to meetings where I was concerned when Department of Homeland Security gave us these so-called free Humvees and all this other crap that has all these maintenance costs associated with them. And I asked for a specific separate line item for these items so we could track their annual costs and see what it costs our community. And do we have that line item? I don't think we do. So there's not much transparency. There's not enough accountability. Certainly not enough accountability. But I opposed Botts Park years ago, and I want to go on the record to say I oppose Botts Park today. And temporarily opposition because we already have it. I'm not saying get rid of it, I want to be crystal clear. I'm saying we lock the gates, we let it grow up, hopefully for not too long, maybe a season or 2 or 3, get this under control, get concessions under control. I don't know how in the heck we spend a certain amount of money on concessions, and then we sell those for a profit, and we're in the red. We lose money on concessions. Where's that money going? Can you pull the camera footage? Can you see whose pockets it's going in? Because it's not going into our community's pockets. It's going into somebody peddling those concessions pockets and stuff like that. So where's the accountability? Was anybody ever fired? You know, I could go on and on. I could talk about the vehicle the taxpayers funded for the former Parks and Rec director. Hopefully you've sold that vehicle by now. I mean, Parks and Rec should be driving their own vehicle. While all this is happening, the public is being shut out. The Parks and Rec, or let me go back to something here real quick. When I opposed box parking years ago, right here in this very chamber, multiple meetings were held, and I was at each and every one of them. I believe that we couldn't afford it then, and I know we can't afford it now. I and others were told it would remain a simple walking trail park. We were told just it would be a trail park. You build